Hi, guys. Welcome back, or welcome to the Storytime Society, where we just gather together and listen to some fun or weird or creepy story times from Reddit and have a little fun hangout sesh or sleepover or whatever you want it to be. I really wanted to ask you guys if you guys know anything about, like, I don't know, a diagnosis or something. Let me know, because for some reason, I think I might talk to my doctor about this because I have an appointment next week for like re-upping my meds or whatever. I have to have like a 3-month appointment with him to check in. But for some reason, like, doing the most simple tasks is extremely hard for me, like so daunting. For the past 3 months, I've been like putting off calling this the lab to see like how much lab work is without insurance. I like put off things that are so easy. Like, I could literally just like call and be like, hey, this and this and this, and it takes 10 minutes. But for some reason, it's so daunting for me. And I don't know if it's like, I feel like I don't have like ADHD or anything like that, because I don't know. I don't really even know what the symptoms are of ADHD or ADD, and I don't want to diagnose myself. But sometimes people are like, oh yeah, that happens with like ADD or ADHD. So sometimes I'm like, do I have ADD or ADHD? Because things are so hard for me to do sometimes, and it's actually so annoying. Okay, anyways, we're back. My orange cat loves randomly when he gets hungry, even though I feed him so many times a day. I feed him little snacks because he's so fat, and we took him to the vet yesterday, and he is 13.7 pounds. So he has lost like 3 ounces since I've been trying to put him on a diet and feed him like less. But he gets crazy if he doesn't have food when he wants it, and he starts chewing on everything. Like, shoes will be ruined, shirts will be ruined. He was just chewing on this backpack, my boyfriend's backpack, camera backpack, and like he goes insane. It's like he's rabid or something. So I need to buy some low calorie food for him so he can still eat, but not as much calories, so that he can lose weight. But he's literally like crazy. I'm like, can you please calm down, because you just ate? And then he will get hungry like 10 minutes later and then bite my legs uncontrollably. Okay, anyways. Let's get to story time. I think that's really all I have to update you on. I don't want to like yap too much in the beginning, because I know that sometimes you just want to like get to the stories, and obviously I'm going to talk a lot after the stories and the story times when I tell you guys what's happening. Hi, Willa girl. Okay, but I have a story up that I've been wanting to read, but I haven't read, so that I can read it with you guys. And it's called My Boyfriend Took What Happens in Vegas Stays in Vegas Way Too Literally. I'm clicking on the link. Willa, you want to come lay for story time? Come here. Hi all. So my boyfriend, 26 male, and I, 23 female. Also, sorry, let me say this one thing quick before I really start, because this girl commented on my video saying that I say the name and the age wrong, but I read it how it's written. So if the person writes the age before the name, or like who the person is, then I read it like that. Like, I just read it how they write it, because I don't want to change the story. And the video that she commented on, I didn't even do that. Like, the age came after the person in every story that I told in that episode. So I was really confused where she was coming from. But, Willa, can you quit? Okay, but now let's get to this story. I just wanted to say that really quick. Like, I'm just reading the story. I'm literally just reading the story. Okay. Hi, all. So my boyfriend, 26 male, and I, 23 female, had recently planned a trip to Las Vegas with a few of our other couple friends. There was supposed to be a total of 6 of us, but due to my crappy job, they denied my request off, and I unfortunately was unable to go. I wouldn't have cared so much about just missing work anyways, to be honest, but I had just gotten this job. Anyways, when I found out that I wasn't able to go, I was understandably upset and didn't really want my boyfriend to go either. Call me selfish, but I didn't want to sit at home alone while my boyfriend and other friends were enjoying their time on a trip I was supposed to be on as well. We argued a bit for a few days about him going, and I eventually gave in and said he can just go. We had set, in my eyes, we sat down and had a conversation, very clear boundaries about what was okay and what was not okay to do regarding girls in strip clubs, etc. Some of my boundaries were, in strip clubs, looking is allowed, money is okay to be thrown, obviously, because this is how these women make their money. No touching, grinding, dancing with other women, no talking to women in a flirting, suggestive way, no giving out your phone number to girls, and the obvious no kissing other people or having sex with them. There were some other things that I don't think are that relevant to the story. He agreed to all these, and we have a pretty good trust. Most of my anger was coming from the fact that I wasn't able to go and have fun with them. So when they went on the trip, I was just sad and feeling bad for myself the whole time, but called my boyfriend every day to see what they were doing that day and if they were having fun. I didn't suspect anything at all. Our friends acted normal, as did he. When he got back, one of our friends in our group, we'll call her Sarah, had pulled me aside to let me know that my boyfriend had in fact been grinding on women, taking them back to the Airbnb, and doing God knows what with them. She said that she had never heard anything that indicated that they'd done something sexual, but I'm not stupid, and I think she was trying to make the situation seem less severe. Needless to say, I freaked out immediately and confronted my boyfriend, who adamantly denied everything, as I had expected. I called the rest of our friend group behind his back to confirm, and every single one of them had said the same thing. Almost every night he would get pissed drunk, not the problem, and bring home a girl, sometimes two, and bring them into his bedroom and shut the door. None of them admitted to hearing anything sexual either. Again, not sure if I believe them. I have no proof, but a gut feeling in my stomach tells me something further than just hanging out or cuddling happened. Regardless, I confronted my boyfriend, saying I was getting fed up with him lying to me. He kept denying until he eventually fessed up and admitted everything, but seemed genuinely confused as to why I was mad, saying that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I literally stood there with the most shocked face. I explained that we set these boundaries for a reason, and that saying is just a saying and should not be taken literally, especially if you're in a relationship. Am I wrong here? Like what? There's not much more to add. We've been going back and forth for almost 2 days over this. I know he's not stupid. He's literally studying to be a clinical psychologist. I just cannot wrap my head around the fact that he genuinely believes that saying and thinks it's a pass for his actions. I started contemplating whether he's manipulating or gaslighting me. If he is, I think it's working. I don't know what to believe. If he genuinely believes that the phrase holds any meaning, what should I do? Should I leave him or try to work it out? This whole situation is turning me off from him. It feels childish, like a child trying so hard to convince their parents that they didn't know something they absolutely did know. In both scenarios, whether he genuinely believed that was a thing or that he's just using it as an excuse, I'm extremely turned off. Part of me wants to work it out with him because we've been together for 3 years. I don't want to throw 3 years away because of something that happened on vacation, but I'm just so torn right now. Thank you for reading, and sorry for the very long posts and typos if there are any. It's 3 a.m. and I've been keeping myself awake thinking about this. Sorry, I need to make sure this is still plugged in, but okay. The way that I am so shook at her, like, interpretation of this, because it's not like, just take the fact take the fact away that he's saying what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. That doesn't matter. He's not dumb. He can make his own decisions. Like, he didn't do those things just because what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. He did those because he's a dumb ass. Like, he's a bad guy. That's why he did those things. And now he's just gaslighting you, saying, like, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, first of all. Second of all, if you guys have those boundaries set within your relationship already, like if you're not in an open relationship and you guys both have like regular boundaries that most like monogamous relationships have, like my boyfriend, obviously, I would not have to sit down and talk to him before he went to Vegas and tell him, no kissing, okay? Like, I'm his mommy. I'm not his mommy. He should already know, like, here are some rules. No kissing, no grinding, no dancing with other girls. You can give them money, but don't take them back to your room and have sex with them. Obviously. Obviously. Sorry? Like, if he pretended, like, what? If he pretended like he didn't know that and, like, I had to genuinely sit him down and tell him that, that's insane. That just goes without saying. You go to Vegas, first of all, I personally am not, like, it gives me the ick when guys go to strip clubs. Like, I just think it's icky. No hate to, like, any sex worker or any, like, strippers themselves, but for me, I don't want to be in a relationship where, like, a guy wants to go to a strip club and, like, wants to go watch girls, like, jiggle their asses and titties in their face. So I just get the ick from that. Sorry, that's just a personal preference. I think it's okay if you think it's fine for your boyfriend to go to the strip club. Everyone has different boundaries, and call me insecure. I really don't care. I probably am. But that's just how I feel comfortable, and I don't want you to do that. So I just don't really understand. Like, have you not ever talked about the fact that you're in a closed relationship before? Because he seems to think that you're not. Or if you are and he knows that, then he's literally just trying to make you seem stupid and bullshitting you. But there are some edits, and it says there are a bunch of edits, actually. Thank you for all the comments. I'm genuinely taking all the advice and suggestions. I just woke him up to what he called an argument, but I called it sick of his BS. It's over for us. We'll update as the process goes on. Thanks again for all the support and helpful comments. Edit 2, I haven't not had sex with him or done anything remotely sexual with him since he got back. I found out the same day that he got back, so I don't believe there is a risk for any STIs, but I will get tested just in case, especially since I guess oral herpes are possible as well. I have kissed him. Edit 3, it's 1 p.m. and he left the house around 8:30, 9 a.m. As soon as he left, I locked the door. I was literally so happy I got an opportunity to get him out because I knew once he'd get back in, knowing I was going to break up with him, he wouldn't let me leave or something worse. I started gathering his stuff. He has no key to the apartment since we share a set of keys, so I'm ready to hear him banging at the door later. To try to avoid this, I've left all of his crap, plus mostly everything he bought, outside the door of the main entrance. Our apartment buildings have an access code, which we as tenants can request to change every 6 months. I'm going to talk to my landlord about that, as no one has requested to change the access codes in a couple years. He still hasn't returned or tried to call me, but I'm not waiting around. Everything he needs is outside the door. Edit 4, he came back, and let me tell you, it was a shit show, but better than what it could have been. Sorry for taking a while to update. He showed back up at the apartment around 9:30 p.m. drunk, but relatively calm. I'm not sure if he was so drunk he didn't realize that his crap was outside the main building door, or if he just didn't care, but he walked right past his crap and right to our apartment door. I didn't realize he was there until I heard him fumbling at the door and then realized he was back. I was sitting on the couch and was really not expecting him to come back, but when I heard that knock at the door, I knew it was him. I didn't open the door all the way and yelled through the door that we were over. I texted him a heads up. I packed all his crap, but didn't tell him where. I thought it would be obvious when he saw a pile of crap in garbage bags outside of our building. He refused to allow me to break up with him, but I held my ground and told him to leave. He became increasingly agitated every time I would tell him he needs to F off and leave. I wanted to yell and scream at him for being a piece of crap so bad, but I was trying to be the mature one. I thought ignoring him would bore him, and it did, but it didn't. After like 20 minutes of him sitting by the door and screaming at it, one of my neighbors had texted me and asked me if she would like me to call the police. My neighbor and I are not very close, so she didn't know anything that was really going on, but I definitely heard the thuds and the profanities he was screaming. I thanked her for her concern, and I told her I would give him another 10 minutes before I called the cops. I also gave him this warning, and he just cussed me out and called me a wanker, LOL. I eventually ended up calling the cops, and as soon as they arrived, he complied and went with them. The officer said I can go to the courthouse the next day and file for an OP to more seal the deal of him not being able to come to my apartment anymore, but obviously couldn't guarantee that it would stick since we're not necessarily violent pretenses. He dropped his tough guy act as soon as the actual authority figures got there. As he was being escorted away, he was not put in cuffs as he was compliant. He switched from screaming profanities at me to begging for my forgiveness and apologizing. What a mind F. So I'm sitting here at 12:30 a.m. trying to calm my mind and finally get some sleep. Tomorrow I have an appointment with my PCP to get tested, and I'll stop at the hardware store for some new locks for my apartment to be safe. I had to wait for my landlord's approval for the locks. The access code is also being changed tomorrow by my landlord. I really am grateful to have such an understanding system around me that is helping me get through this time. Even people I'm not even friends with, it means a lot. Thanks again to all the comments under this post. I wasn't expecting it to get this much attention. Although some of you are assholes, the majority has respectively given their input, and I really appreciate and listen to every comment. Hopefully this is my last update, at least for a while. However, I will update with the legal process or if anything else happens. Thanks all again for your love and support. The internet can be a great place sometimes. Her TLDR says there is none. There is none. You have no obligation to read this long-ass post. If you don't like it, feel free to move on to the next post because I could give a rat's ass whether this was too long to read or not. That's funny. Okay, the top comment says, he cheated on you. He's apparently dumb as a brick or attempting to gaslight you over a phrase nobody should take seriously. He broke the boundaries you carefully laid down with him. This is over, surely. Even beyond the cheating, the guy just seems gross. 3 years probably seems like a lot, but if you stick around, you're going to remember that you had the chance to take your exit when he showed his ass at 3 years, and you're going to be so annoyed that you stuck with him. Yeah, 100%, because 3 years is not that long, and in comparison to if you're like with him for the next 20 and then you're like, oh damn, I've been with him for 23 years now. I should have just broken up with him at 3 so I didn't have to go through. I'm sure what he would put you through was crazy within the next 20 years. She commented back and said, it's over. Absolutely. It is 7 a.m. and I've woken up telling him that he needs to start getting his belongings together as I no longer feel comfortable living under the same roof as him. We split rent, but my name is on the lease. I pay all the utilities, internet, etc., so I will have no problem being able to afford this apartment on my own. But he is already trying to start problems about moving out. Some more I seriously didn't know. And I love you. If I wanted them, I would have stayed there. Blah, blah, blah. BS. I already know that's BS because I constantly have people clowning me for not making him pay anything. So I know not many people go to lengths that I try to, but to make sure he's taken care of. He's a full-time college student at a private university. His family lives out of state, so he has no family here but mine. But they have never really cared for him, doing an internship at the moment, so I sure hope he can find somewhere to live and a way to survive without living off his girlfriend. I feel like it sounds like weaponized incompetence almost. Like, I know weaponized incompetence is more like when you're like, oh, when you like, so if your girlfriend wants you to do the dishes and then you just do them really badly so that it seems like you're just too incompetent to do them, and then she doesn't want you to do them anymore, so she just does them, and then you're like, yay, now I don't have to do them anymore. Like, that's weaponized incompetence. But in a way, this almost sounds like he's weaponizing his incompetence. Like, I seriously didn't know. Like, you can't control yourself. As if someone is like puppeteering you or something. What do you mean you seriously didn't know? I seriously didn't know that like having sex with another girl in Vegas was gonna like make you upset. Like, I didn't know. I love you so much. If I wanted them, I would have stayed there. I just didn't know. Are you okay? Because it's genuinely embarrassing and it's grossing me out. But thank God that she actually like stuck to her guns and broke up with him, because that man seems like the worst person ever. All right, let's see what story we want to read next. Oh god, this one sounds really weird and I don't know if I want to read it or not, because it's kind of creeping me out. Okay. I guess we'll read it. Okay. I'm going to go to the actual post because I hate reading when it's like the screenshot. This was posted 6 days ago, and it's my 23 female father-in-law, 70 male, spanked me, and my husband, 30 male, thinks it's not a big deal and that it's kind of funny. And I'm freaked out and rethinking our relationship. What do I do? I know the title sounds ridiculous, and it is a ridiculous situation because it should have never happened, but I really need some advice. So, my father-in-law has always been that cranky and senile old man, and he always made some distasteful claims and jokes, but I always brushed them over because I was trying to understand his thinking from another time and background, and since my husband warned me about him from early on and told me to just ignore him. But it finally went wrong when I was staying at his place. I was staying there for a few days because he had a hurt leg and he couldn't move around the house freely. He still could, but just not very well. So I offered and kind of selected to help him staying. So I offered and kind of selected to help him staying at his place for a few days. I don't know what that means. And things were not easy, but they were going pretty well until a couple nights ago. We got into some stupid argument where he insisted on eating and drinking things that the doctor told him not to, at least during his recovery, and I kept telling him he shouldn't. And he started raising his voice a lot and screaming at me, "Do not talk back to me, girl," and like, I can do whatever the F I want to do in my own house. And got up from his chair. I instantly got scared, thinking it might escalate, so I just apologized and tried to leave, but he sprinted towards me, grabbed me, and held me down. I got extremely scared because even though he's an old man who's sick, he's still a very big man, like 6'2" or something, and I'm fairly a small woman under 100 pounds, and I knew I couldn't do anything physically to stop him. Then he started like spanking me, like he really wanted to hurt me. I was so scared and terrified because he kept yelling at me, and I just kept apologizing and crying because I was just genuinely terrified. He kept doing it, and after I profusely apologized, he finally let me go, and I was just glad that it was over, but then he made me stand facing the wall. I couldn't even think to run away. I know I should have, and I probably could have run away, and I was being dumb, but I was just so scared, and I was worried that he might do it again, so I couldn't think straight. So I just followed him, and I couldn't think about how mortifying it was at that moment because my butt was hurting so much, and I was just hoping that it would end. And after a while, he finally said I can go, so I ran up to my room to call my husband. I called him and I started crying, telling him what happened because I was relieved that it was over, but also I started feeling so powerless, helpless, and mortified. But then he kind of chuckled and said, "Oh yes, he used to spank us growing up." Like he genuinely doesn't see the difference between spanking his own child growing up, which is still messed up, and spanking his grown daughter-in-law and seeing her half naked. Wait, what? I kept trying to make him understand, but he pretty much was like, "Well, that sucks, but you knew he was that way," and kind of not there. You should just try to forget it happened. He's just a crazy poor old man. And when I kept insisting, he finally said he will talk to his dad, but I feel like it won't be much. I'm just shocked that he doesn't see why it's messed up and how he's kind of siding with his dad when his dad pretty much assaulted me. I feel like I can't trust him like before, and I'm also worried thinking that if it was our future kids, but he still thinks it's just spanking. And I told him to come pick me up, but he said he can't now, so he's not picking me up until this coming Monday, which is still earlier than planned, but still I have to stay with him for a few more days. And apparently he talked to his dad, telling him he can't do that, but my father-in-law just keeps smirking at me, saying that's what I get for being a bee, or he'll make my hiney explode again. And I've been feeling like I'm walking on eggshells in the last couple of days, worrying that he'll do it again, and I've just been doing whatever he tells me to. What do I do? I'm seriously rethinking this relationship, but do you think it's possible that he doesn't see the seriousness of the situation and will change after I make him see somehow? Edit, I'm sorry, but I'm making this edit to put some of my responses. I was trying to reply in the comments, but they were overwhelmingly too many. Yes, now I know I should have called the police, but the first thing that came to my mind was to call my husband, and after he brushed it off, I didn't think to call the police, and I know that was dumb, and now I feel a little uncomfortable or intimidated to call the police because it didn't just happen, and I feel a little too scared to do that because it feels like trouble, if that makes sense. I know I'm not in trouble, but I'm not sure if that makes sense. And I'll try to figure out a way to leave as early as possible, hopefully by tomorrow morning. I'm calling my husband as soon as I'm done with this to see if he can change his travel plans to pick me up, and I can't afford to go get a taxi because he lives very far from other things. I'll try to see if my friend will be available to drive me if my husband can't. I now know that I was naive to think that was okay staying until Monday. Thank you for all of the advice. Edit number 2. Sorry I wasn't responding. I was calling my husband and friend. My husband said he can try to get me even earlier, but not until Sunday. So I called my friend. I didn't tell her much, but she said she would ask her boyfriend if he can drive. Then she said that she can come get me tomorrow, so I'll be getting out of here tomorrow. Some people asked me why I couldn't find an old man. What? Some people asked me why I couldn't find an old man as a grown woman. Well, I think she meant fight an old man as a grown woman. Like I said in the post, he is old, but still a big man. He is a lot taller than me. He's like 6'2" even now, and I'm 5'1", and I'm sure he weighs more than double how much I weigh. Like, I couldn't really do anything when he held me down. I was so scared because I never felt like that. Also, someone asked me why I didn't run when he made me go stand. Like I said in the post, I knew I could probably run away and outrun him, but I was scared that would happen what would happen if I got caught and I couldn't think straight. Some asked how could I even get grabbed by him initially when his leg was injured, but he can still move around his house, just not very freely. I was there mainly to help him going up and down the stairs and when he goes out because he can't walk long. But we were close when this happened, and he could still lunge towards me really quickly. Maybe I could have ran or something, but I don't know. And some wanted me to clarify the half-naked part. Maybe it was confusing because I wasn't planning to share that part because I felt humiliated by that, but it slipped out when I was talking about my call with my husband. But he pulled my pajamas down all the way down to spank me when he held me down. Also, I'm not sure if dementia is a possibility, but I'll maybe figure it out once I leave the house. Again, thank you for your advice. Oh my God, there's so many edits. Okay, I'm going to say something really quickly. I'm so glad. First of all, I'm really glad that people have Reddit to come to and ask for advice like this, because the fact that it's not like so obvious that her husband is so crappy for that and that she should divorce him and absolutely get away from this family as soon as possible is crazy. That like some people just genuinely think like maybe, I don't know. That's just really sad to me. Like, yes, you should absolutely not be giving him the benefit of the doubt. He is not, if he thinks that's okay, that's insane. Because what else does he think is okay? Does he think him spanking you is okay? Like, does he think he should punish you like he's your dad? Like, what? That's so scary. I would be so far gone. Can you stop trying to get the cord? Please. Okay. Edit 3. Sorry I didn't make an update, but I'm out of that house and with my friend and her boyfriend, and we are heading back to their place for now. I'm sorry, but I haven't talked to the police yet. I know a lot of you urged me to talk to them, but I told everything to my friend, and she helped me take some pictures of me where I got hit, and I took a screenshot of text messages I exchanged with my husband. I thought about trying to record my father-in-law, but I was scared to provoke him by mentioning it. But in the texts, my husband confirmed that he called his dad to tell him to stop spanking me, so there's that. I'm safe now, and I'll try to make another update when I'm at my friend's. Some people kept asking me why didn't I just leave, and why did someone have to pick me up if I'm a grown woman. I don't have a car, and I don't know how to drive, and I was never taught to, and he lives in a remote area, and there's no Uber. If there was, I wouldn't be able to use it because I don't use a credit card. Why didn't I just walk to the nearest motel or something? Because there's none. The nearest gas stop / grocery store is a 20-minute drive away. I thought it would maybe be safer to stay there than trying to walk hours alone, especially when my father-in-law has a car and can still drive. I'm sorry that I haven't been responding to comments or updating. I was talking to my friend about what happened in the car most of the time and also calling my husband, and now I'm at my friend's, and I'm sorry that I haven't been... Oh my God, this girl, I feel really bad for her. She keeps saying I'm sorry. Like, why are you sorry? Stop being sorry. I'm sorry that I haven't replied to the comments and questions, but I've been trying to handle this, and I got over 1,000 comments, so I've been trying to make updates on my post. So I'm sorry, but please stop saying I'm nowhere to be found in comments if possible. I know I keep making excuses, but I know I'm a grown woman. I grew up in and out of the system, and I just never had a car or someone that would teach me how to drive, and I don't have family I can call or keep in contact with. I'm glad that you can't even imagine a grown person who can't drive or have a family to call, but I'm sorry. But I don't know how to prove that I can't drive or just simply get an Uber. Not everyone is in an area where you can just walk to a bus stop or a hotel or call an Uber, and hotels and taxis are expensive. But husband and I talked over the phone for a while, and he's going to be back later Sunday, and we will talk then. But I'll stay with my friend for a while until we sort this out. She already took the pictures of my butt, and I sent her the screenshot of the text of my husband. She also recorded my phone call with him, so I feel safe that she has those too. So I feel pretty safe that she has those too. And I wish I called her sooner, but I know that she's not in a good condition too. And I know missing a work or driving hours can really hurt her financially, so I didn't want to make her come. What? I don't understand what that means, but okay. And I'm sorry, but please stop saying, why didn't I just fight back? Or why did I just stand by the wall without running away? I already tried to explain multiple times, but I know he's old and injured, but he is still strong and scary. And I was really scared and frightened. And I was so worried about him doing it again. And I just wanted to stop. So I just did what you told me to. He just assaulted me, held me down so I couldn't move, hurt me. And I genuinely was scared that he'd do more when he pulled my clothes down. I fought and tried to get away as best as I could, but he didn't even budge and I was hurt. Okay, but obviously by reading the comments, people are victim blaming, which is crazy to me because why are people such victim blamers sometimes? Like, it's genuinely so sad. This girl clearly, like, not to be mean, but clearly, she's only 23. She's really young. And her husband is 30. So I feel like maybe she is just naive, and it seems like maybe she didn't grow up in the best of conditions. So she probably just doesn't have a lot of like life skills, and she wasn't taught a lot because she wasn't able. She wasn't privileged enough to be taught. Like, not everyone has the privilege of being in a normal family situation and being taught how to drive and being taught like that you shouldn't put up with a relationship like this. And now I feel bad saying that, like, she should just leave because she probably doesn't feel like she can't drive. She doesn't seem like she really has money. It seems like, why is she taking care of her father-in-law and her husband's not there? Why is she just like meant to go with this dangerous man, and the husband knows that he is a dangerous guy and is probably like, he didn't even find it surprising that he was spanking this grown adult, which is insane. He's like downplaying the situation so much. I want to see who is this man? And also, why are people so quick to being like, why didn't you just run away? Why didn't you just like fight back? Or why didn't you just like go to a hotel? Not everyone can do that. If I can tell you, obviously I have a lot of privilege. I have my family that could come save me. I have friends. I have my boyfriend that could come. I have so much, but if I put myself in her situation and I don't know how to drive and I don't have money to get a hotel and I'm like in the middle of nowhere with this 70-year-old man that is way bigger than me and just spanked me with my pants pulled down, I can tell you that I probably would also not be like fighting back or doing what he tells me. Like, I probably would just be, yes, sir. Yes, thank you. Okay. What do you want? Like, okay, master. You know, like, I would be so scared. I would be shaking in my booties. It's not her fault. I don't understand. Like, people would rather be like, why don't you just fight back? And not just be like, this man is absolutely insane. Like, F him. And people are just blaming her. She clearly doesn't know. I'm so sad. Okay. The top comment says, "Tell me this is all made up. He will come get you Monday? It's Friday. You're stuck with this sick, demented old F all weekend." I would have told him there was no way in hell I was spending another night in that house and he needed to start driving or otherwise making arrangements to get me out of there immediately, or I was just going to walk out the front door and keep walking. Can you get an Uber or a motel or something? I have no idea what kind of situation you are in, where you are in the world, etc. And if he didn't take it entirely and completely serious, I'd hang up and my next call would be 911 or whatever the emergency number is in your area to report an assault. Is he medically diagnosed with dementia or anything like that? If not, I'd probably push to press charges. That your husband left you in this situation knowing that what could happen and that he finds it funny and no big deal should tell you a lot about what growing old with him could be like. Nothing about this is okay. If this isn't rage bait, then as her husband, I'd lock my own dad up for that crap. Then I'd break his other leg. Since OP's husband didn't stand up for her, I'd walk away with quickness. Nothing about this post is remotely okay. I mean, yeah, I'm sure, like, I don't know. You don't really know what situation she's in. Like, for all we know, the husband. Ew, what was that? Sorry, I just got really scared. For all we know, the husband could be abusive and she doesn't want to stick up for herself. Like, we don't know what kind of situation she's in. It's so messed up to be blaming her for this. I'm going to see. This was 6 days ago, so I doubt she's made an update. But, I mean, she just made like 20 updates, I guess, on that same post. So, yeah, that's like the only stuff there is. But it's so sad. I feel so bad for her. I love how people just act like it's like so easy to just get out of a situation like that. Like, not everyone is able to or knows what to do in that situation. Obviously, she didn't think to call 911. She probably has been in a situation similar to that before where something's been downplayed and she needed to call her husband to tell him and like kind of ask him if that was like it was almost like she was like, "Do you think this is messed up?" Like, obviously, if she didn't know that she should have called 911, then she has probably just experienced terrible things in her life that makes her think that she should have just dealt with it. Okay, let's go to the next story. That was kind of depressing, and I'm feeling a little bit like, I don't know. My insides are feeling a little sad and weird now because of that story. I really don't want that. I really don't like that. All right, let's read this one. This one's pretty short, but the title is very interesting. Am I the asshole for not wanting a baby girl so my mother-in-law wouldn't have the chance to name her? I, 28 female, am pregnant and about to deliver our first baby. My mother-in-law wants to name our baby the name of her dead daughter. My mother-in-law wanted us to get pregnant right after getting married so that her daughter would be reborn. My husband and I dated for 8 years and decided to get married. Everyone was happy. Our wedding planning was in progress, and due to an unfortunate accident, my sister-in-law passed away before our wedding. Our wedding was postponed to 1 year so everyone would have time to grieve. After the wedding, all the relatives from my husband's side wanted us to get pregnant immediately and wished that it would be a daughter. There was a lot of pressure. Gradually, after a year of being married, we were pregnant. We were very happy. I truly wish it would be a baby boy and not a girl because of my mother-in-law. I feel like I would be depressed if it was a baby girl due to my mother-in-law portraying my baby as her daughter. As a note, I did not know the sister-in-law that much as my husband and I were in a long-distance relationship and my sister-in-law passed away before I could even meet and get to know her. Am I the asshole for not wanting a baby girl so my mother-in-law wouldn't have the chance to name her? Edit, husband is supportive. Him and I have already spoke to mother-in-law about not wanting to name our baby as her daughter, but mother-in-law doesn't seem to respect boundaries. Stressing me during the pregnancy, I don't know how to be more clear to her. Hubs and I can be more stern, but we don't want to end up being the asshole to a grieving lady. Any advice on keeping the mother-in-law lady in line without disrespecting her would be appreciated. Thanks. The top comment says, 1, you name your child. Yes, very true. And then I'm going to read all the comments under this that are like responding to this comment. For real, I mean, you conceived her, you carried her, you birthed her, yet you don't get one of the most important parts, naming her. What the F is that BS? You aren't a surrogate. Where is the husband in all of this? What is his opinion? Edit says he supports OP in this, but seems like they are just tiptoeing around mother-in-law because she's still grieving. All the while, mother-in-law is just, from what it sounds like, bulldozing them. They're going to have to dig and be much firmer and indecisive regardless of how it makes and decisive regardless of how it makes mother-in-law feel. Whether she's still grieving or not, she needs to hear no crap. You are not naming our baby. Get that notion right out of your head, or you will not see the baby until she can tell you her own name. I dealt with a lot of BS from my in-laws because of their problem child, not the one I married, but this takes the cake. I wouldn't let her near baby girl at all. Mother-in-law sounds like she'll treat her like a reincarnation of her dead daughter. She's going to give the kid a complex. Yeah, she needs... Yeah, oof. Is that like... I wonder if it's like... I don't know. I wonder if it's like a common thing or something within their family or something, because even if my mom was grieving, or even if my boyfriend's mom was grieving, like, there's no way either of them would be like, this is your sister, you're birthing your sister. Like, there's no chance in hell that would be happening. Okay. I'm going to read like OP's comments back to people. My husband is supportive of the way I feel and tries to reassure me that our goal would be for a healthy and happy pregnancy and not worrying about the gender of the baby. He is supportive in every way possible and tries to keep me calm and not stressed about these things. I discussed with my mother-in-law that we will name our child, and she can't be calling the baby the name of her aunt. But mother-in-law is like, name whatever you want, I'll still call her with my daughter's name. So I wish I had a baby boy so I don't have to deal with this drama. We can name our baby as we wish, but my concern is my mother-in-law refusing to call our baby what we named. I'm more worried that she will treat our baby as hers, and I don't want that, and I don't feel comfortable. I want to set boundaries, but I don't want to end up being the asshole to a grieving lady. I think maybe don't talk to this lady anymore. She seems that I'm gonna call your baby whatever name I want. That's an insane thing to say to someone. He says he is not interested in naming the baby after his sister, as he says that naming the baby by his sister's name would make him feel like replacing his sister with the baby. He's not deflecting. He wants the baby's name to be our choice. Yes, we have a few names listed for girl or boy. I decided not to know the gender until birth, so wow, I need to nip this in the bud. Thanks for sharing it. I'm sorry you had to grow up with this. I'm assuming, let's see what this comment says. If I can. Whenever I click on something, I can never find what I clicked on. It never brings me to the right thing. And it's so annoying. Okay, wait. Maybe this is it? Yeah. Alright, so this person commented, what's your husband's reaction? Either way, you are being a doormat and need to put up some strict boundaries. You are not a monster for not wanting your baby to carry the burden of that name. Your baby is not your mother-in-law's second chance at her daughter. Your baby is not a reincarnation and should not be treated as such. Give your baby his or her own name, please, or you will regret it for the rest of your life, and your baby will live to regret it. I know it's hard to stand up for yourself, especially if everyone is telling you that you are wrong, but please be strong for your child's sake. I was named after a dead relative, and every single birthday, event, special occasion, and celebration, I had was always more about them. All my accomplishments have been compared to my deceased relatives. All my birthdays are, relative would have loved to be here, and relative loved chocolate cake, so we are getting that for your birthday. Don't be upset. It will mean a lot to everyone, even though I don't like chocolate cake. All of my preferences were compared. I was forced into ballet and tap and theater because those things that my deceased relative enjoyed. I wasn't allowed to do sports until I was old enough to pay for it myself because relative thought sports were boring. I faced some extreme backlash when I started going by a nickname, and eventually it led me to legally changing my name. I still am shunned by certain family members because of the disrespect to the relative, who is someone I've literally never met and died 8 years before I was born. I know it's hard to put up boundaries, but you will regret it more if you don't. Not the asshole. That's really good to hear from someone that has had to live that out. I mean, she had no intentions of naming her baby that, I'm sure. Like, from what she's said, I don't think she had any intention of that, but it seems like she doesn't really see the option of just not talking to the mother-in-law anymore and just like not having the mother-in-law in the baby's life anymore, because I think that is like the number one solution and the only solution, because it seems like the mother-in-law is just going to completely undermine them, and it doesn't even matter what they say. She's going to call them the baby by the daughter's name anyways. So maybe just don't give her access to your child, because it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. She's going to be forcing that baby to try to act like her daughter that passed away. And as sad as it is that your daughter passed away, I'm sorry, but that does not mean or give you the right to treat a little baby like this, who is its own person, and I'm sure does not want to be turned into this deceased person that you want to turn her into. Like, she's going to be her own person, and that's really scary if someone is trying to like force someone to be a reincarnation of someone. Like, if reincarnation does exist, I don't think that's how it works. Like, I'm pretty sure you can't choose who they are reincarnated in. I don't think that's how it would work. I'm almost positive that's not how it would work, even though I don't even know if that's like a real thing, because I don't know if I believe in reincarnation, really. I mean, I don't know. I feel like anything could be... I feel like everything could be real, honestly. Like, reincarnation could be real. Mermaids could be real. Aliens could be real. Anything could be real. What are other things? The Loch Ness Monster. What's that one thing? Bigfoot. Like, they're probably all real. And that would be cool. But that's besides the point. This mother is crazy. She needs to get some big, big help by a doctor. It sounds like maybe they are in a different culture where like or religion maybe, that they really believe in reincarnation or something. I don't know, but even if, I feel like even people, I don't know what religion it is that believes in reincarnation, but I feel like even the people that do believe in reincarnation would not do that. Like, they wouldn't be like, we're going to call this girl the name of this dead person because they're reincarnated. Like, right? I don't know. I feel like they would just be like, oh, it's fate that you'd be reincarnated. And I feel like also reincarnation takes longer than that if it's real. Not me acting like I know everything about reincarnation, but I feel like it would take longer than that. Like, from like 50 years ago, now those people are now being like reincarnated. I feel like right after they die, they probably aren't reincarnated immediately after, or maybe they are. I don't know, because I know nothing about reincarnation. Why am I even discussing? All right. Oh God, that's the whole story we read last time. It was crazy. Guys, I'm tired. I'm always tired. Let's read. Oh, let's read this one. Boyfriend, 26 male, from wealthy family, owes me, 25 female, $25,000. Should I stay? My boyfriend and I have lived together for 4 years. He comes from a wealthy foreign family and is in the US working on his startup. He's been trying to fundraise for almost 3 years now with no luck. He has never had a salary, and his parents cover rent. This is all a bit unsettling to me, but I estimate that his family is worth around $20 million, and they seem to have no real issue with covering his portion of the rent for now. I'll leave my personal feelings about dating someone with no income out of this because I want to focus on the money that I am owed and how I should go about it. Almost a year ago, his family fell very behind on rent because of some liquidity issues. I decided to cover the total of $18,000 from my savings in fear of getting evicted. From then until now, the total that I am owed has gone up to $25,000. I have heard many reasons on why they are so behind, including they're in the middle of a huge construction project back home and need to focus their funds, the value of their stock holdings, have been on a downturn, economic instability in their country, a death of a family member. Essentially, each time that I need to cover more, I hear a new reason why. I try to be sympathetic, but I have to work for this money. I practically have nothing in savings now because the amount I make monthly is so close to the full monthly rent that I might need to cover if his family can't. It hasn't gotten to the point that I have no money left, but it will if he can't with next month's rent. I had a conversation with the mother recently, and she told me not to worry because I was a part of the family and they would never think about not paying me back. She said that in fact she was actually planning on paying me back with interest. She asked me that I be patient given their current bad luck with the market, construction costs, family complications. This June I had to cover rent for my boyfriend again, and I could not hide my discomfort. No matter what he or his mother tell me, I am very impatient to get my money back. They paid down portions in the past, but never the full amount. I'm literally their line of credit. Considering making a plan to move out in the next few months if this continues. I am very scared of ending up with no money, and this makes me feel so financially unstable. Obviously, my relationship is suffering. He says that my anxiety and lack of trust make him feel like I'm not in it for the long run. That couples need to be strong through tough times. I love him, but my money is my money. I can't sugarcoat it. Thoughts? My thoughts are, if this family is worth $20 million, they could pay you back $25,000 times 300. Sorry? Like, hello, what? It sounds like something deeper is going on here. It almost sounds like he's trying to scam you, or like this whole family is trying to scam you. To me, because they obviously don't, if they really are worth that much, they probably aren't in, like, what, they're struggling with money right now. Their $20 million just isn't enough for them. What? I don't understand. I don't get it. I probably would have broken up with him a long time ago. Because, like, that's your whole savings. Are you kidding? I would be freaking out. I hate the topic of money. It literally scares me. Oh my God, I only have 9 minutes left to record on this camera. It literally scares me. Like, I hate money so much. I try to put so much money in my savings account, and then I try to put so much money in, like, a retirement fund and in investments, and I don't want to have any spending money. I try to make the least amount of money go in my checking, and everything else I try to disperse because I'm like, if something terrible were to happen that I need money, I'm gonna need money, and I don't want to be struggling with money, even though I make myself struggle with money by, like, not giving myself any money to pay for anything else other than just, like, saving it. But I would literally be freaking out. After $2,000, I would be like, okay, where's my money? Cough it up. Give me it. Hand it over. $2,000, that's a fraction. That's a tiny little baby fraction of $20 million. You can afford it. Your death in the family, you probably could afford that funeral 20 times over. What do you mean? You're doing a construction project? Pause it. What? Your stock is down? What? You have a stock? What do you mean? Okay, the top comment says, this guy is just robbing you blind. Stop being blind. Yeah, and I highly doubt that his family was worth $20 million. Their skint Oh, they're skint. She will get nothing. It's easy to fake online luxury life. He's probably showed her pictures and built up a dream in her head. It will all be lies. You can't tell me a millionaire can't produce a few hundred here and there. If she wants to spend more money to do a background check on him, mom is probably his girlfriend or his real wife. That'd be crazy. Absolutely. If the family has the money, there is literally no incentive to pay her back. But it is far more likely that they do not have the money. I live in HCOL area. I don't know what that means. And $20 million isn't rare around here. $25,000 is a pittance and should be easily covered from their checking or shopping account. I can't believe that anyone who has $20 million does not have $25K in liquid funds. Yeah, it just sounds like these people are just lying to you. I'm so sorry. Let's see what she's saying. If I stay with him or not, I will do my best to get the money back. I gave him the original deadline of paying me back in March, and when he didn't, I started looking for a new place. March resulted in a huge argument about love and trust, and he asked me to give him just a few more months to figure this out. A few more months have passed, and every time I ask, which is averaging to every few days, he gets more and more annoyed. I feel the beginning of the end starting to happen, but yes, if his family has money, why can't they pay rent? It baffles me. 2 years ago, they flew me first class to France, and I got to see one of the 4 homes they own. I know for a fact that they have money, so why can't they pay me back? Funny you mentioned the gold digger bit, because deep down I feel like this is a test of some sort, a test I did not sign up for. It sounds like they're like criminals, maybe. Maybe they like got arrested and got everything taken from them or something, because usually when you get arrested, not saying I got arrested, but my brother did, and they took like everything expensive that he owned, because when you make the money illegally, they can just basically take anything that you bought ever, even if you didn't buy it with like the dirty money, because they just can. So, I mean, it's not like he owned a lot. Like, he had a PS5 and some, maybe a computer or something, so it wasn't anything crazy, but I could see that happening. I just can't believe that. Wait, let's go to the thank you. The interest I expect to be paid back should closely track this. Deep down, I worry that he has no real desire to really build wealth himself, and if is just waiting for his parents to offer him a family business. Yeah, because why isn't his parents should just give him money to fund his freaking startup? I've been with him for 4 years. Of course, I vetted his family and met most of them. They have money, but they clearly don't think I'm important enough to pay back promptly. They will paint this as a test to my love and commitment, but I feel utterly disrespected already. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. You should leave. You should leave, girl. Get out of there. Even if he's worth millions, it's clear you're not seeing any of it. Like, what's the point in having a rich boyfriend if he can't take you out to nice dinners and you got to pay for his rent? There's no point at all. And I'm not a gold digger, but if I was with a man that was worth $20 million, he better be taking me on. He better be paying for my rent. Like, I mean, I guess it's his family and it's not him, but still, come on. Come on. $20 million? If I had $20 million, I would be pretty generous. I can tell you that. I would give random. I'd be like, here you go. Here's a few $1,000s. Here's a few thousand to like my friends. I'd be like, come on this trip with me. You know? $20 million is a lot of money. And obviously if she thinks that it's real, it's not fake. So cough it up. Cough it up. Okay. I'm hot. I'm literally sweating because the sun is beating down on my body right now. But I'm going to go and I don't know what I'm going to do. Probably clean my apartment because it's a literal pigsty right now, and I haven't even unpacked from my cruise that I got back from on Monday. Also, I totally forgot to say in the beginning that you should like grab your coffee, because I usually say that every single time, or like tea or water or whatever. But I forgot because I was like stressed because my cat was biting on the backpack and I got really stressed, and then I had to kick him out, and I got really mad at him because he was biting on the backpack, and it makes me so annoyed when he bites on stuff, because then it makes me feel like I can't trust him anymore. Like, I don't trust you around anything that I own anymore because you just bite it. Like my Adidas shoes, he literally bit a bunch of holes. My Doc Martens, he bit a bunch of holes in. He owes me so much. Oh, not that camera. My boyfriend's nice Mac camera that was like $1,300 or something. He bit the corner of the screen when I was using it one day, and I had to pay $800 to get a new screen because the screen went completely black. So yeah, he owes me like $3,000, and I don't think I'm going to be seeing any of that money anytime soon. So I can really relate to this girl because I have a man that also owes me a lot of money, probably near tens of thousands of dollars. And he's orange and fuzzy. And he's in this other room because I locked him in my bedroom because I couldn't stand him anymore. But I love him. And he just got his shots yesterday, so maybe he's just not feeling well. He also got a little, like, probe shoved up his little booty to collect fecal matter so that he could get tested for worms and stuff. He was such a good boy. Poppy, I was so afraid that she was going to literally attack the vet because she hasn't been to the vet since she was sick when she was a kitten with a respiratory infection. But we just had her yearly checkup and yearly vaccines yesterday with Frankie. We took them both at the same time. And she was the best little girl ever at the vet. It was actually so cute. She had her tail like tucked between her legs. And she's usually like so sassy to people that come over. Like she'll hiss at people. She'll like lunge at my boyfriend's mom because they have cats and she hates the smell of their cats. She'll lunge, like it's scary. And she was so sweet. Her eyes were super like big, like her pupils, and she was like just standing there letting them do whatever. And she got like 4 shots and then her little thing shoved up her booty. And then Frankie was good too, but he's like so weird about like when I have to rinse his eyes out with eye rinse because he gets eye boogers. He's so annoying about like me touching his face, or I try to like wipe the eye boogers that he gets away, and he's like he's just so annoying about it. So he was still a good boy, but he was really scared in the car. He was meowing like I've never heard him meow in my life. It was the scariest meow ever. It was like it literally sounded like a human making a scary noise. Okay. Anyways, love you guys. Sorry for that information. That was a lot of information for you guys. Subscribe, like the video, comment, because you know I love to talk to you. And I'll see you guys on Tuesday. I have 1 minute left to film on this camera, so I'm living on the edge right now. But I love you guys. XOXO Gossip Girl.